Chapter 1, The Monkeys at the Table. The Galactic Council chamber was designed to intimidate. Its walls shimmered with holograms of empires stretching across stars, every arch carved with symbols of millennia-old civilizations. The ceilings swirled with constellations in real time, a reminder of the galaxy's vastness and the Council's dominion over it. And then 3 humans walked in, one carrying a battered cooler with stickers peeling off. Every alien present froze. The reptilian warlord, scales polished to a militant sheen, hissed in disgust. The cephalopod elder's tentacles twitched in alarm. The bird-like Kirith ambassador tilted her head in fascination. The humans smiled as if they'd just strolled into a backyard barbecue. "Good afternoon," said Ambassador Cole, voice smooth, tone warm. He set the cooler on the ornate obsidian floor as though it belonged there. "We brought refreshments. Diplomatic courtesy and all." His assistant, a wiry engineer named Reyes, popped the cooler open. The hiss of soda cans echoed in the chamber, incongruous against the solemn alien silence. He cracked one open, fizz spraying. "Hope you don't mind. Council air gets a little dry." The reptilian warlord snarled, voice guttural. "This is a chamber of governance, not a feeding pit." Cole gave an apologetic bow, every inch the picture of humility. "Oh, of course. Forgive us. Humans are terribly informal creatures. Though, if you'd like to try, we've found carbonated beverages can improve negotiations by 20%. His smile carried the polite brightness of someone who already knew the outcome of a chess game. The warlord bared teeth. The cephalopod elder, wiser and slower to anger, spoke instead. "You arrive here uninvited, with snacks. Humanity's reputation precedes you, but I had not expected frivolity." "Not frivolity," Cole said, calmly folding his hands behind his back. "Cultural sharing. We thought it better than bringing weapons." His words were lightly spoken, but they lingered in the air, barbed beneath the courtesy. Reyes leaned toward the youngest member of the team, a nervous intern named Maddie. She sat stiffly in her chair, trying not to hyperventilate under a dozen alien stares. Reyes whispered, "Relax. Worst case scenario, they hate the chips." Maddie's eyes darted. "And best case? They hate the chips but fear us anyway." Cole cleared his throat, reclaiming attention. "Members of the Council, we thank you for granting us a hearing, even if reluctant. Humanity wishes peace, cooperation, and a chance to contribute to this magnificent assembly of civilizations." The Kirith ambassador fluffed her feathers, leaning forward eagerly. "I've read about your species. You have myths where ordinary farmhands become heroes, yes? Such charming resilience." Cole chuckled. "Oh, we do love an underdog story." The reptilian warlord slammed a clawed fist against the table, rattling the crystalline data slates. "Enough! These apes barely understand warp mechanics. They should kneel, not sit among sovereign powers." Cole tilted his head politely, eyes steady. "Kneeling isn't really our style. Bad for the knees." His tone was mild, almost humorous, yet the words made the chamber colder. The elder cephalopod's tentacles stilled. "You mask arrogance with jokes. Curious. But arrogance it remains." Cole gave a small shrug. "If honesty is arrogance, perhaps. We're new here, after all. But newcomers adapt quickly." Reyes noisily munched a chip. The crunch reverberated like a gunshot. Aliens twitched. Maddie wanted to sink into the floor. "Cultural diplomacy," Reyes offered with a grin, holding out the bag. "Anyone?" No one moved. The silence stretched until the bird-like Kirith, apparently oblivious to the tension, leaned forward with genuine curiosity. "Do they explode?" "Only your taste buds," Reyes replied. Cole intervened smoothly. You must forgive my colleague. Humans use humor to ease tension. And judging by the temperature in this room, tension could use some easing. That one a ripple of alien murmurs. Humor was not common among the galaxy's elder races. The cephalopod elder fixed Cole with a long, unblinking stare. Humanity is young. You war among yourselves, yet claim readiness to stand beside us. Tell me, why should we not dismiss you as children who discovered fire too soon? Cole's expression softened, the charm still intact but sharpened with steel. Because children rarely survive predators. And yet, here we are. The line landed with quiet weight. Even Maddie stopped fidgeting. The warlord's claws tapped against stone in agitation. Cole leaned forward just enough to command the chamber. We respect this council. We respect the ancient wisdom gathered here. But don't mistake civility for weakness. Earth has survived countless trials. Each time, we adapt. Each time, we grow sharper. History has taught us, underestimate humanity at your peril. The warlord hissed again, but his earlier certainty wavered. The bird-like Kirith ambassador blinked rapidly, feathers trembling. The cephalopod elder's tentacles drew inward, contemplative. Reyes broke the silence with another soda can pop. Don't worry. We're friendly. Most of the time. Cole allowed the chuckles of his companions to fade, then straightened. His smile never faltered. This is only an introduction. We came not with demands, but with an offer, conversation. Cooperation. A chance to prove that humans can contribute more than conflict. Maddie finally found her voice, though shaky. And if given the chance, we promise not to blow anything up. She paused. Unless we really have to. The chamber erupted into layered reactions, indignant hissing, clicking laughter from insectoid delegates, scandalized trills from aquatic envoys. Cole simply raised a hand for quiet, his expression equal parts apology and amusement. Inside his eyes, though, was something else. Something calculating. Something predatory. The cephalopod elder saw it and went still. The humans remained smiling. The council chamber, built to showcase the might of the galaxy, suddenly felt smaller. Chapter 2, the news that changed the room. The chamber's lights dimmed slightly as a crystalline orb pulsed in the center of the table. The council's information relay rarely interrupted a session. Messages of this urgency were usually reserved for war, plague, or catastrophe. The reptilian warlord leaned forward, nostrils flaring. Report. The orb shimmered and displayed a live tactical map. Entire fleets drifted across its holographic surface, each marked with banners of ancient houses. At the very edge of the star chart, a scattering of human icons appeared, smaller, fewer, almost laughable beside the massive alien armadas. Cole adjusted his tie, the gesture oddly casual in the sea of anxious alien eyes. Is this about us? The cephalopod elder's voice resonated low and troubled. The armada dispatched to discipline Earth should have reached orbit 3 cycles ago. The hologram shifted. Hundreds of crimson symbols blinked out, one by one, replaced with static. Silence pressed against the chamber walls. Reyes leaned back in his chair. Looks like they didn't make it. The warlord rose, claws gouging furrows into the obsidian table. Impossible. Those were apex fleets, armed with weapons honed over centuries. Cole's smile never faltered. We did warn you. Humanity adapts quickly. The bird-like Kirith ambassador tilted her head, feathers quivering with disbelief. How? Your kind barely comprehends slipspace navigation. No fleet of Earth's size could endure such an onslaught. Reyes raised a finger. Technically, we didn't endure. We improvised. The cephalopod elder demanded, explain. Cole gestured politely. Reyes? Reyes set his soda down, suddenly all business. Asteroids. We redirected a few into the fleet's path. Nothing fancy, just some borrowed physics and creativity. Turns out battleships don't like rocks traveling at 20,000 meters per second. A ripple of alien outrage swept the chamber. The warlord spat, "That is not war. That is barbarism." Reyes grinned. Funny. Worked like a charm. Cole's tone remained silky smooth. You see, counselors, humans rarely fight fair. We fight to win. That's a principle we carry into everything. The Kirith ambassador blinked rapidly, confusion mixing with fascination. But you weaponized debris? Not debris, Reyes corrected cheerfully. Free ammunition. The elder's tentacles coiled uneasily. Your tactics are crude, but effective. And that is what unsettles me. Cole inclined his head. We make do with what we have. That's our gift. Where others see waste, we see possibility. The chamber filled with agitated voices, clicks, growls, whispers vibrating the walls. Only Maddie remained quiet, staring at the flickering red symbols vanishing from the map. She finally muttered, "We actually pulled it off." Cole placed a steady hand on her shoulder, not breaking eye contact with the council. "We always do." The cephalopod elder's voice cut through the din. "This cannot continue. If humanity is permitted to escalate, you will destabilize the entire spiral arm. Already your wars sow chaos." Cole's reply was almost gentle. "Counselor, chaos is what we were born in. You mistake survival instincts for aggression." The warlord snarled, slamming his tail against the floor. "No. You are predators, hiding in sheep's clothing. Left unchecked, you will spread like fire." Cole leaned forward, voice lowering to something razor-sharp. "And fire, warlord, has a way of keeping the darkness at bay." The words hung heavy, polite yet undeniably threatening. Even Reyes, usually irreverent, sat straighter. Maddie's nervous fidgeting stopped cold. The Kirith ambassador fluttered her wings anxiously. "But, surely you seek harmony? The council exists to guide, not to conquer." Cole's expression softened again, disarming. "Of course. Humanity craves peace. We simply don't wait for permission to defend it." The elder's eyes narrowed. "You claim defense. Yet what I see are victories built on ruthlessness." Reyes couldn't resist. "Ruthless is such an ugly word. We prefer efficient." Maddie whispered, barely audible, "We didn't even use our good tricks yet." Every alien ear and appendage twitched. Cole didn't correct her. He only let the silence deepen, a faint smile resting on his lips. The warlord barked, "You mock us. You flaunt your primitive cunning as though it rivals our millennia of discipline." Cole remained composed. "Not rivals. Merely inconvenient. For you." The orb pulsed again. More data scrolled across the hologram, intercepted transmissions from the defeated fleets, desperate last words, systems shutting down. The chamber trembled with quiet shock. The elder spoke in measured tones. "One battle does not prove supremacy." "True," Cole said. "But it proves we're not as fragile as you thought." The Kirith ambassador's feathers drooped. "You frighten them." "Good," Reyes said bluntly. Cole shot him a look but didn't disagree. Instead, he adjusted his cufflinks as though preparing for a gala. "Fear is not our goal. Respect, however, is overdue." The warlord leaned close, scales glistening under the chamber lights. "And if the council decrees your destruction? If we unite against you now, what then?" Cole met his gaze without blinking. His tone was soft, measured, almost kind. Then you'll learn what desperation makes of us." The silence that followed was absolute. Maddie, voice trembling but oddly steady, added, "We don't start fights. We finish them." The cephalopod elder's tentacles shifted in a slow, uneasy spiral. The bird-like ambassador tucked her wings tightly. Even the warlord sat back, though his glare never softened. Cole straightened once more, smile returning as if nothing dangerous had been said. "Now, counselors, perhaps we should discuss cooperation instead of conflict. Unless, of course, you'd prefer another demonstration." Reyes cracked open a fresh soda, fizz echoing through the quiet chamber. "And trust me, you don't want the next one." The orb dimmed, leaving only the hush of unsettled alien voices. For the first time in centuries, the council chamber felt less like the heart of galactic order and more like prey caught in the gaze of something it hadn't recognized until too late. And through it all, the humans sat relaxed, smiling as though nothing unusual had occurred. Chapter 3, The Trap. The chamber's air felt heavier than before, though the atmosphere filters hummed without change. It wasn't oxygen levels that weighed on the delegates, it was the realization that something about humanity did not fit the comfortable narrative they had relied upon. The cephalopod elder finally broke the silence. "If your victory was mere improvisation, then it is a fluke. Fleets fall to chance. Strategy, however, strategy wins wars. Do not mistake fortune for genius." Cole's eyes glinted, still smiling, still calm. "A fair point. Shall we discuss strategy, then?" Reyes leaned forward, placing a data pad on the table. "We've been monitoring council transmissions. Turns out your encryption isn't as unbreakable as you think." The warlord's tail lashed violently. "Lies." Cole raised a hand with perfect composure. "Counselor, please. Watch." Reyes tapped the pad. The chamber filled with sound, a reptilian commander, frantic, begging for reinforcements as asteroids shredded his fleet. Then another, cursing in defeat as oxygen drained from his flagship. The final voice was calmer, resigned, an admission of failure. Static faded. No one moved. Reyes smirked. "And just so you know, we only cracked that code with an old Earth algorithm. Something we call SHA-256. Obsolete for us, apparently still magic for you." The Kirith ambassador's feathers puffed in shock. "You broadcast our own transmissions back at us?" Cole's tone stayed mild. "Transparency is the foundation of trust, don't you agree?" The cephalopod elder's tentacles quilled tight, the alien equivalent of a shudder. "You have embarrassed the council in its own chamber." "Embarrassed?" Reyes echoed, pretending confusion. "We thought of it more as sharing a highlight reel." The warlord rose again, claws scraping sparks from stone. "Enough games!" Cole did not flinch. His voice lowered just slightly, carrying an edge like a knife hidden beneath velvet. "No games, warlord. Only revelations. You came to teach humanity its place. But perhaps you miscalculated. Perhaps it's time you recognize we've been calculating too." Maddie spoke up before she could stop herself. Her words trembled but carried a bite. "We knew you'd send fleets. We made sure you did." Every alien head swiveled toward her. Maddie froze, then swallowed hard. Cole gave her a nod, encouraging. "Go on." She forced herself to continue. "The broadcasts, the probes, the false weakness we let you observe, it was bait. You thought Earth clumsy, unguarded, still fumbling with slip space. That's what we wanted you to think." The elder's voice turned grave. "You mean to say, you orchestrated this?" Cole's smile deepened, polite as ever. "Counselor, humanity does not stumble into victory. We build it, piece by piece, until our enemies mistake the trap for an opportunity. The Kirith ambassador whispered, feathers trembling, predators. Reyes shrugged. Survivors. Predators just sounds scarier. The warlord slammed his fist down. You manipulated the council. You dared trick us into slaughtering our own fleets against rocks and sabotage? Cole's voice softened to a dangerous calm. We didn't dare, warlord. We simply prepared. If survival is a crime, then we plead guilty. Reyes leaned in, grinning. And honestly, thanks for sending such expensive ships. We couldn't have tested our little asteroid calculations without them. Maddie whispered to herself, almost too quietly, but the chamber amplified sound. Phase 1 worked better than expected. A ripple of unease swept the delegates. The Elder's tentacles writhed. Phase 1? Cole let the silence stretch, then folded his hands neatly. Of course. You didn't expect us to stop at defense, did you? The chamber darkened again as the orb pulsed. This time it wasn't council data, it was human. Blue holograms spread across the chamber, maps of alien supply lines, hidden outposts, even the guarded coordinates of council relay hubs. Cole's tone was silk over steel. We have no desire to fight you. But make no mistake, we already know how. The warlord staggered back a step, fury momentarily eclipsed by shock. The Kirith ambassador pressed her wings tight to her sides, whispering prayers in her language. The elder remained silent, though his eyes never left Cole's. Reyes cleared his throat. Fun fact. Most of your relay stations still run on operating systems vulnerable to a buffer overflow exploit we patched on Earth in the early 2000s. One in turn, he nodded toward Maddie, found the hole before lunch. Maddie managed a nervous laugh. I wasn't even trying. The chamber rang with alien outrage, disbelief, whispers of fear. Cole let them rage for a few moments, then lifted his hand. The noise died like a flame smothered. You think of us as children with fire. But children don't set traps spanning light years. Children don't bait armadas and feed false intelligence into your networks. Humanity may be young, but youth does not mean ignorance. It means hunger. It means speed. It means adaptability. His smile never wavered, though the chamber's temperature seemed to drop with every word. And those who confuse our smiles for weakness rarely live to repeat the mistake. The elder finally spoke, voice heavy. You came here not to plead for entry into the council, but to warn us. Cole inclined his head, perfectly polite. Correct. Humanity desires peace. But peace is best negotiated from a position of strength. Consider this demonstration an introduction. Reyes popped another soda, the hiss and fizz impossibly loud. You're welcome. The warlord growled low, but did not rise again. Maddie sat straighter, emboldened now, her voice quiet but steady. We don't bluff. Not about survival. Not ever. The cephalopod elder's tentacles finally stilled. He regarded the humans with something close to reverence and fear. For the first time in the history of the chamber, the galaxy's greatest powers found themselves silent, watching three fragile-looking primates who smiled as though the entire room was already theirs. Chapter 4, The Silence. The council chamber no longer felt grand. Its vaulted ceilings and shifting constellations seemed smaller now, as if the stars themselves had retreated from what sat at the table. 3 humans. 1 cooler. And a silence thick enough to smother every alien voice. Cole broke it with a smile so easy it almost felt cruel. Counselors, let us not dwell on what's past. Fleets can be rebuilt. Pride, less easily, I admit. But Earth did not come here to humiliate you. Reyes coughed pointedly. At least, not only to humiliate you. Maddie gave him a sharp elbow. The soda can in his hand hissed anyway, underlining the absurd casualness of the humans against a galaxy of trembling delegates. The reptilian warlord finally managed words, though his voice lacked its earlier force. You dare gloat. Yet you stand alone. Humanity is but one world. Cole leaned forward slightly, voice soft, measured, each syllable deliberate. One world is all it takes when that world refuses to bow. The warlord's claws clenched, but he did not rise. The cephalopod elder regarded Cole with something that might have been dread, or admiration. What, then, do you want from us? If not conquest, why bait us into ruin? Cole straightened, posture immaculate. What we want is acknowledgement. Respect. The understanding that humanity is not a curiosity to be studied, nor a nuisance to be corrected. We are a partner, or an adversary. The choice belongs to you. The Kirith ambassador, feathers trembling, whispered, and if the council chooses enmity? Cole's smile never wavered. Then humanity will do what it always does. Adapt. Survive. And make sure no one forgets why. Reyes leaned in, tone suddenly lighter. But hey, we're rooting for the partnership option. Less paperwork. Uneasy laughter flickered among a few delegates, quickly dying. Cole clasped his hands behind his back. Understand this. We prefer peace. We value it. But peace without respect is surrender, and Earth does not surrender. Maddie added, her voice gaining strength, we've bent before, but we don't break. Never. The chamber remained hushed. The silence was no longer disbelief, it was fear. Cole let the pause stretch, then delivered the line with polite finality. You thought humanity came here to ask. We came to inform. The words struck harder than any weapon. The orb in the center pulsed again. Not council data this time, human signals. Quiet, steady pings from fleets orbiting in distant dark, already in position. The hologram revealed them, ships with patched hulls, uneven designs, unmistakably human, yet numerous enough to surround the very system where the council chamber floated. Reyes sipped his drink, unconcerned. Nice view, huh? Took us years to sneak all that hardware into place. Honestly, I'm impressed we kept it a secret this long. Gasps, trills, hisses filled the chamber. The elder's tentacles stilled in grim realization. You already hold the high ground. Cole inclined his head, almost gracious. Consider it insurance. Humans are cautious by nature. The warlord's glare held fury, but beneath it, the first edge of respect. You smile as predators. And yet you speak of peace. You contradict yourselves. Cole's voice softened, dangerous in its gentleness. Predators hunt. Survivors endure. Humanity has learned to be both. The Kirith ambassador's feathers sagged. The galaxy is not ready for you. Cole allowed himself a dry chuckle. Neither was Earth. Yet here we are. Maddie whispered, audible in the weighted silence, Phase 2. The chamber froze. Cole placed a reassuring hand on her arm but didn't deny it. His gaze swept the council, calm and patient. No need to panic. Phase 2 isn't for today. Think of it as incentive to keep our relationship cordial. The warlord hissed, a threat. Cole's smile was courteous as ever. A reminder. The elder spoke, voice somber. You wield irony like a blade, but your intentions are clear. The galaxy has underestimated you. And now we pay the price. Cole's expression gentled, almost kind. Not a price. A lesson. One we hope you remember without needing another demonstration. Reyes flicked a crumb off his jacket. And trust me, you don't want the sequel. For a long stretch, no one spoke. The council, ancient rulers of empires spanning constellations, sat frozen under the gaze of three humans who looked more like diplomats at a picnic than conquerors. Finally, the elder bowed his head. "The council will consider humanity's place among us." Cole bowed politely in return. "That is all we ask. Consideration." He rose, collecting the cooler as if this were merely the end of a casual meeting. Maddie scrambled to follow, heart still racing. Reyes popped one last soda for the road. As they reached the chamber doors, Cole paused. He turned back, his smile unchanged, his voice light. "One last thing. Earth never bluffs. Except, of course, in poker. And maybe during elections." A ripple of uneasy laughter passed through the chamber. Yet none mistook this statement for comedy. The doors closed behind the humans, leaving the galaxy's greatest powers in silence, speechless, stunned, and for the first time in that long reign, uncertain of who truly held dominion.